Hey everyone, welcome to Full Circle. I'm Anderson Cooper. As we here in the U.S. are finally cautiously optimistic that vaccinations across the country will be having a real blunting effect on the pandemic, we're certainly watching in horror of the less fortunate around the globe. Right now, India is certainly reeling. The case count there just surpassed 20 million. India is reporting the world's highest number of new cases every day and an unthinkable number of deaths. To this point, my guest tonight is part of a network of the India diaspora who's doing anything he can to bring relief to people back home. New York-based chef Vikas Khanna has been raising funds to feed millions of Indians for most of the pandemic. He's now turning his attention to oxygen. He joins me now. Vikas, thanks so much for being back on Full Circle. We talked earlier about your feeding efforts earlier in the pandemic. I mean, first of all, it's just got to be heartbreaking to see what is happening to people in India right now.
As you were talking to Sam, I just couldn't breathe just thinking about it. Just looking at those visuals. It's a very big country, and this pandemic is massive. And we've totally broken down infrastructure right now. And, every time I'm speaking to someone, I said, I'm going to talk to you on one condition. We're not going to criticize what's going on right now. We should be the part of the solution. And we started a campaign with Vibha organization. And within a few days, we've raised almost $435,000. And we have some oxygen concentrators which are about to land in India in this week, 650 oxygen concentrators. When you were talking to him, I could feel that this is just a very small part of what is going on. And it's very small help, but I feel that just like Feed India, I started from few meals and then I could finish it off. I'm still working on it at 65 million meals. I'm thinking that this will also be like this, Anderson, but the situation is very difficult, it's very dark, and this is really broken. It's crushed all of us. It's a global issue right now. It's a human issue more than a political issue.
Yeah, of course. Last time we spoke, you talked about how just how moved you were during the pandemic, and obviously that continues. Once your supplies get to India, what happens to them? How do they get to people?
So what Sam was saying that I do not start any campaign or any initiative unless I figure out from end to end. So Vibha has so many different partners in India who are totally focused on it. I'm also taking the help of NDRF, National Disaster Response Force. We're going to be making sure, and I'm a person who, because I'm sitting so far in New York, I like to document every step because I'm also accountable to so many donors. Every step of this, I'm going to make sure that this shows that where exactly every cylinder gets placed. And you have to be like this because, you are also holding trust of so many people who are actually contributing to the cause. Once it gets to Delhi, we're going to start working on deployment of this with our local partners and every step. And because, when you run Michelin star kitchens, you make sure that nothing gets displaced. So that is my attitude even when I run this initiatives, even remotely like this. I hope I'll be able to bring help. Exactly.
Yeah. We spoke last time about your mom and how important she is to you.
My mother has been double vaccinated. She had a second shot last week. But, I was talking to her and I told her, and she said that, no one is safe until everyone is safe. And that is something which right after this, we are also figuring out how to do vaccination centers with Vibha. And the guy who's up with me 24 hours in the night, that's my partner Jay and Kayur. And we have this team in India with Manisha, and we are totally focused with Poonam that we need to find a way to create vaccination centers. But what happened in New York, we of course we were badly hit, but eventually most of us are getting vaccinated, and we have the option to get vaccinated right in the clinics right now. And I think we should be able to create force here and use all the muscle power here and our privileges here and resources here, and to find a way to give a supporting hand when the country needs us.
One of the things that I know you're also donating PPE, and I understand you're sending the PPE specifically for people who are working with those who have died from COVID. We've had reports crematoriums are, completely overwhelmed in New Delhi. Our reporter Clarissa Ward had a heartbreaking report several nights ago from one, and a lot of people have no actual PPE equipment and they're working in crematoriums.
So if you look at the visuals, sometimes you see these visuals who come to you. Right now they are wearing PPE kits, but many times I see when people are sending images, many of them are not even wearing absolutely, like, perfectly, which is 100% safe PPE kits. So we have almost 5,000 are deployed right now, but we have a mission of 50,000, which is people who are performing the burial rites or the cremations. Many times I see them, with just wearing a mask, and you are dealing with bodies which have passed away because of COVID. Just to have that dignity, these people are performing all the rituals. And even in India, when they have these rites, there's so many family members, and it crushes me to see sometimes there are no family members. So these people who are doing the last rituals, these are the people who are actually the family right now, representing them so that they have dignity in their death right now. And we are very focused we are focused on this. I'm totally 100% dropping everything, and I'm working on this.
Yeah, I mean, when we spoke, it was in October, and we talked about your Feeding India initiative. And I wonder, just when you take a look back at what you've been able to do just over a year's time, it's really, I mean, you kind of changed your entire life to do what you can. And I think many people in the pandemic have found themselves rethinking their lives as we move forward. I mean, does this, do you see yourself changed in some fundamental way?
Anderson, I think everyone has changed. Everyone has changed. During this pandemic, post-pandemic, our relationships with ourselves, forget about the world. Everything is shifted. We used to read about these big flus and all these fevers, but now we witness this as such an advanced society. And this has made us more cautious, more thankful in some ways. At the same time, extremely transformed that, if we do not hold hands together, mankind is going to suffer a lot. And, just with a single tweet, if you continued and focused, and when I spoke to you in October, and we still continue to do Feed India. On Mother's Day, we have a lot of women's ashrams which will be having enough food for every woman for at least 3 to 6 months. We continue to do those things. During the Eid, I want to make sure, because I celebrate Eid, and I make sure that, we have some food parcels which are going to people which are hit right now. And I think we are all doing this through our resources in New York. This is my studio kitchen where I'm doing this cooking show, which I know when I'm doing it, starting next week, we start showing people 20 dishes, classical, how to make this Indian food. I'll be able to also tell people, please share the link for vaccination centers. Pandemic has also showed us a survival instinct as human, but also at the time, how can we be creative to support people?
Well, Vikas Khanna, I really appreciate you talking with us and all you're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anderson.
For more ways to help India battle the COVID crisis, you can check out the organization that Vikas is partnering with at vibha.org, vibha-org/donate. Our team at CNN's Impact Your World has even more resources for how you can help India during the COVID-19 crisis at cnn.com/impact.